Hi, I'm Pat Kane, the primary instructor of the course. I'm going to try to put these announcement videos together regularly. If not every weekday, then maybe 3 times a week or so, just to maybe keep it from feeling a little bit too detached and maybe a little bit more human, something like that. At least that's the idea. The first thing is course materials. So signing up for the course on Wiley Plus, getting a copy of the workbook, that kind of stuff. Right now, or by right now I guess I mean maybe half an hour ago, it looked like 26 people were signed up on Wiley Plus, which means that 20 haven't. So if you haven't done that yet, you want to get that taken care of. The workbook, if you added late, and by late I mean like if you added within the past couple of days, it might be tough to get the workbook in time to get the first lab completed. That's why I posted scans of the Beyond the Numbers activities for the first lab. Like, that's why those will be there for the first lab, but not for subsequent labs. I can't really get away with just going ahead and posting all that freely, but we can do it for the first lab, especially because I'm not sure that somebody who had it late would be able to get the workbook on time if they're not in Lexington. As far as the Wiley Plus accounts are concerned, yeah, make sure that you sign up for that if you haven't done so already. And if you can work ahead, that's ideal, and I realize not everybody can. Some people are going to have full-time jobs and other things that take up a lot of time where maybe that's just not going to be that realistic. But if you can work ahead, generally I think that's helpful. So if you can do it with the pre-course material homework assignment, if you can get that done by the end of the day today or by the end of this weekend to then where you're ready to go for that first module starting at the beginning of next week, I think something like that would be helpful, just because then you're sort of robust against unforeseen events happening. And then if something comes up that you don't anticipate, which happens to everybody at some point, certainly, then that wouldn't necessarily stop you from being able to get assignments turned in on time. Another thing with the pre-course material homework assignment, that one has unlimited attempts. So at the very least, make sure you give yourself enough time to get, I think it's 107 out of 107. I think that number's right. I'm not looking at it right now, but I think it has 107 total points. So make sure you give yourself enough time to do that. And for the minimum technology requirements, when you set your account up, it wouldn't hurt to do a browser check just to make sure that you've got everything that you're supposed to. That probably wouldn't affect anything in Chapter 1, but it will in Chapter 3, where if you don't have Java updated or Flash updated, I forget which, that will mess up things in the Chapter 3 homework. Therefore, it would mess up things on the test too if you're going to use your own computer to take the test. So just do that browser check just to be safe. I think that's a good idea. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is ways of contacting me. I guess email would be the most logical one. The reason that I'm not a big fan of Canvas messaging, which I put on the syllabus, is because it hasn't historically been all that consistent for me. It has a tendency to do things like drop attachments, and so because of that, I don't entirely trust it. And I don't always get the notifications either. So between those two things, I think email is better. As far as the other options go, if you do want to meet in person, just email me and I'm sure we can set that up. When I'm in Lexington, which I'm not right now, I'm at my parents' house, which is like 720 miles away from Lexington, but I'll be there sometime early next week, and I'll basically be there throughout the summer session. Certainly I would be before the exams happen, so that's usually, if people want to come in and talk to me in person, that's usually when that happens. And that is not hard for me to do. I can walk to my office in about 40 minutes. So I can drive there in maybe 15. I mean, especially in the summer where you don't really have to fight for parking spaces. So that is not a big deal for me. That always happens every summer and winter. There will be a couple people that want to do it. That is not a problem at all. Doing it with a video chat, that's rare, like that's less common. But if you want to do that, if you're not in Lexington, but you want to sort of set up something that's a little more personal than email, I'm sure we can figure out a way to make that work.